Hey class, I want to make this quick video about this type of question, which seems to be the most confusion. I would have posted the other one, but it just did not record correctly or didn't convert, which sometimes happens with Zoom. So I'm just going to post this video real quick. Is how to make an equation of a parabola where you have just the focus and the directrix. Now, I'm going to show you with PF equals PD because that's how I taught it to you, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. So let me just be consistent with that. So first off, if you notice here, these are just two distance formulas, one after the other. And that's totally okay. What we're looking for is the parabola's values. And right now, we don't know what the parabola values are, so they're going to stay variable. While we do know what the focus value is, and we do know what the directrix value is. So we're going to use that information to figure out the parabola. So to start us off, we're going to do the square root. 1 is the parabola and 2 is the focus. So x1, I do not know what that is. So I'll put x. I still don't know what the vertex of the parabola is. Minus the x of the focus. Well, I do know what the x of the focus is in this case, which is 3 squared. Plus y1, again, that's the parabola's y. That means I don't know what it is, so I'm going to keep it as y1. Or just y in this case, I don't really care. Minus y2. Now y2 is the focus of the y, so that happens to be 5 in this case, squared. Now that equals the right side, which is the square root, again, is also a distance formula, of x1, which we still don't know what's the vertex. Now the x of the directrix. Notice here in the directrix, there's only one value. It's either x equals -1 or y equals -1 or y equals whatever. So it's only one value. So in this case, it's going to be x. This is a -1. Since the equation says minus, we're going to do minus negative. So plus 1 squared. Plus y1 minus, in this case, because of the directrix is a straight line on the x-axis, it could be any y value. So in this case, for the directrix, whatever value you are missing, so I have an x here, the other value is just going to stay the variable y squared. Why is that very useful? Well, because this is y minus y, that's 0, and 0 squared completely disappears. Either way, let's continue our math. Now I'm going to rewrite this as x minus 3 squared. And you might have like, oh, do I FOIL out? Do I distribute? What do I do? In this case, because both sides have a square root, just square both sides. Squaring both sides will get rid of the square root, which means we don't have to deal with that square root anymore. In that case, we're just going to have x minus 3 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals x plus 1 squared. Now, in this situation, you have an x here and you have an x here. Because you have x's on both sides, I want to split them up to able to connect them together. Also, we could kind of figure out that our parabola is going to look like this. And the reason we can figure it out is because our directrix is -1 and our focus is 3,5. And we know the focus has to be inside the cup of the parabola. So we could see it sideways. When a parabola or any graph is sideways, it doesn't have y equals, it has x equals. So either way, the safest way to think about it is just that the x's are on both sides, you would unfoil the x's. If it was y's on both sides, you would unfoil the y's. So this x minus 3, we're going to square it. So that's x squared minus 6x plus 9. Remember, you're technically rewriting x minus 3, and distributing. Plus y minus 5 squared equals this one, x squared plus 2x plus 1. Now you're worried about the x squares, but no need to worry about that. Since there's x squares on both sides, we could cancel those out. And what I would like to do is move all my x's to one side, pretty much away from the y. And I'm going to move my constants to what I left in parentheses. The reason is this is going to look like our vertex form, which is really useful for us. So to rewrite this, we're going to have, I'm going to put the y squared in front. So y minus 5 squared. This plus 1 on the other side will be minus 1. So plus 8 equals negative 6x. You're going to have to add it. So 6x plus 2x, 8x. We're almost there. The last thing we need to do is get the x by itself. And remember, it's the x we're isolating, not the y, because this is a sideways parabola. If it was a vertical parabola, you would have y on both sides, and you would isolate the y. So I have to isolate the x, so it's divided by 8 on everything. So over here in front of the parabola, I'm going to rewrite that as 1 over 8, y minus 5 squared plus 8 divided by 8 is 1 equals 8 divided by 8, or 8x divided by x. 8 is just x. And right here is literally my equation to the formula. So that's how you use PD equals PF, or what do I call it? PF equals PD. And I'll put it full screen so you can see it all at once. PF equals PD to solve this type of question. Overall, it's a lot of algebra and canceling stuff, but because most of the things cancel, the worst thing you're doing algebraically is like foiling here and then dividing by whatever variable you have by the isolated variable. So realistically, you're not doing that much work. It's not that hard. You just plug in, simplify, then FOIL, cross out a couple of things, divide a couple of things, and you'll get your answer. Hope this helps.